You are looking live at the daily chart of the Nasdaq, and you can see that today was not a good day as it fell 290 points or 1.79% on a volume which is slightly below the 50-day average. But what was significant about today was that the index sliced its 50 here significantly in a dramatic way. And we've seen these bars before here I had mentioned this before on March 8th. We had that, this is a Friday, I believe, the big update, and then the reversal, and then the April 4th, which is not too long ago. Today's the 15th, so 11 days ago. Had a similar bar, a little worse though, because this one took us down to the 10, and this bar on the 4th sliced the 21 and approached the 50. And today it went through all the moving averages and closed 1.2% below the 50. So that is a significant move. We went to caution on the yellow and, no new buys because, you just getting chopped up. You buy something, it goes up a little bit and then the rug gets pulled and you're underwater holding the bag. So we don't want to be bag holders. I will just point out, though, that on this move here from October 26th to, the high of 16,538 was 32%. And now it's given back 4.5%, nearly 5%. On the move down, you'd expect, well, how much will it go down? I would expect it to give about 10% back, at least a third of the move. So yeah, if it goes down to 15,000, that wouldn't surprise me. The 15,150, that wouldn't surprise me. But also wouldn't surprise me if it just pulled back a little bit and then rallied back through the 50, with the earnings. Obviously, first of all, we have geopolitical tensions. We have the tax selling this week. Today's April 15th. So I could see, selling NVDA, just having it wired straight to the IRS. So you got a lot of things going on. We got earnings coming up and caution ahead of earnings, some profit taking after a big move. So just a confluence of things. I wouldn't get, after a big move like that, you've got to expect some type of a pullback. I mean, stocks and indexes correct through time or price or both. And right now it's just in a little correction phase. So we don't know how long it will last or how low it will go. But I'm not a day trader. I'm not going to just jump on SQQQ right away. Like we say, why don't you just buy SQQQ? Look at this thing in a complete downtrend. I mean, yeah, it had a good day today. I mean, if you're a day trader, had a nice move today. So, but I'm digressing here. I'm not interested in SQQQ. Sorry. You can if you want to hedge. People use it as a hedge, but I'm not going to do that. I just wanted to point out, this I'm gonna go to a little different time frame here, like a 10-minute chart. These Monday morning gaps higher, what was it, a first half hour or so? It looked really good, woohoo. They come in from the weekend and you're all stoked, did your charts, and XYZ stock looks great. You buy it, and then all of a sudden, whoops, the rug gets pulled. So yeah, that's kind of an old game that's played. But yeah, went up to 16,295 today and then closed near the low of the session. I think the low of the session is right here, 863, closed at 885. So yeah, don't chase these gaps higher are made for sell. If you want to get rid of a stock or sell some or trim some, you can do that, but they're definitely not made for buying. And we've seen this a lot lately where the early morning gaps higher and then it just craps. So you don't want to be caught in that. Anyway, I'm going to go to stocks. More interested in stocks and indexes, and Apple is one stock that's, they've talked about this too much. They have a lot of exposure in China and they're just not doing well. They have a lot of competition. It's in a downtrend. It traded up to its 50. Had a nice rally for a couple days here. It made that low below the old 168.49. It made a low here last Wednesday. 167.11 bounced a couple days, but then got rejected today at the 50. So this thing looks it's a train wreck. That's a new technical term. Tesla pretty similar, but not as strong. It's weaker than Apple, in fact. Made that low of 160.51, rallied up, couldn't even make it up to the 50, got slammed down here at the 21. Today it was down, wow, 5.5%, 161.38. So that's challenging that 160.51 retest, 160.51 right here, 160.51. 160.51, and now the low today was 161.38. So I don't know. Tesla's just in a downtrend. When you see all these moving averages in a downtrend, there's no way you can buy this stock. It's just it's in its own bear market right now. All right, Microsoft, this one pulled back today as well. I mean, when you see the index pull back like that, all these mega caps are pulling back. This one traded below its 50 and closed a tick below the 50 there. Wouldn't be surprised to see it find support and bounce higher. Just in a trade range here. Doing nothing wrong. The old 397 here and the 420, it's just trading between those two numbers. So doing nothing wrong. As I say, Amazon has been super strong. It needed to pull back a little bit. All it did is pull back to its 10 today. So Amazon is one of the stronger ones. Google has been looking good. Pulled back to its 10 today. I wonder if OGL. Okay, same thing. All right. And then which one am I missing here? Oh, Meta. Meta was weak today. And traded back down to 500. Just having trouble with that 500 number, much like NVIDIA is having trouble with the 900 number. It traded up to 906.13 and just reversed lower. The high from last week was 907.39. I like to see it trade above 907.39, which was the high of last week. And you can see it's just in a little trade range here after a massive move. And this is where, your entry point is really critical. I mean, if you bought NVIDIA, back in January, when it broke through the breakout from the base, then, this is just, another base here and you don't really care. I mean, let it play out, right? Over time, I mean, even if you bought NVIDIA today and it reversed on you, come back 3 months from now and this thing's probably going to be a lot higher. So I wouldn't read too much into one day. I've got to get to some of the stocks reporting this week. They're going to have a big impact on the semiconductor space. This is ASML Holding, 378 billion market cap. These guys pretty much have a monopoly on their business. We'll just have to see what they have to say. Dutch manufacturer of lithography systems. Yeah, how about that? But we'll hear what they have to say on the 17th, which is Wednesday. And the other one is Taiwan Semiconductor. Once again, kind of in a trade range here, 158, 133. Pull back to the 21, and they're going to report on the 18th. So we'll just have to see what these companies say. These are big companies. Taiwan is 726 billion market cap. So those who are definitely going to move the semiconductor group, which includes AMD, which looks sick. But all that really happened was companies, investors, institutions made big bets on AMD towards the beginning of the year, the end of last year, the beginning of this year. Bought it up and it ran up, nearly doubled, 93 to 227. That's way more than a double. And now it pulls back a little bit below its 50. And it's just not the end of the world. They just have to report a couple of good quarters. And that's what all this was about here. All the buying here in December and January and February. Big buying, big bets. Institutions making big bets on AMD, and it ran up. So they're expecting this earnings bar, this green earnings bar, to start doing this too, to go along with the stock price. All right, so the stock got ahead of itself. Now it's pulling back. But, Lisa Su said there was how much? 400 billion addressable market in AI, and people scoffed at her. And then a week later, so Jensen said there's a 2 trillion market. Everybody goes, oh yeah, let's jump on that. So they're just going to have to deliver the goods. That's all. We're just have to wait for earnings, and it's coming up. So we will know soon enough. AVGO, this is one that I had on my ready list. I like the stock, but pull back today to its 50, and I'm just watching it, just observing the action today. That's all I'm doing. watching what stocks are doing well. How are the leading stocks performing? Are they really, giving it up? Are they staying in their trade ranges? Are they slicing their 50 like ARM did here? This one did not take out the 120 though from the prior week. Yeah, 120.95 was the low. And what was it? The prior week low was 120.02. So yeah, you don't want to see it making new lows. It's just kind of consolidating in a base. Not the end of the world, but it is below its 50. But in a couple of days, it could rally right back through it. So it's not the end of the world. Um, don't panic, in a market when they're selling with, so much noise going on. Another one that I was looking at was A-Lab. I didn't even look at this one today. Okay, it's holding up okay. This is one that you got to look at, a little smaller time frame, the 30-minute, because it's just holding these lows here. 66, 76, 66 flat. This one went a little below 66. And this doesn't look bad at all. The lows now are 70, 70, 89 today. So not bad for A-Lab. 70.89 is a low, yeah. So it's just forming a little IPO base. That one looks pretty good to me. Needs more trading history though, so don't get too excited. All right. Anything else there? No, I think I'm done with the semiconductors. Okay, what was working today? Goldman Sachs reported earnings, and their trading desk was they have a kind of an advantage. Insiders, I don't know. I'm not going to say anything. They just had a good report, and it responded well to the new data points, and you could see it traded down to its 50 and then bounced today. So a nice move for Goldman Sachs. Congrats to the longs there. On a day like today, if you're up when the index is down, nearly 2%, you're having a good day. And Schwab reported, and it was well received as well. And they talked about green shoots, and but in this market, you're not going to have huge breakouts and rip higher. Just this is a real strong day today, considering the damage and the carnage done on the major indexes. So that one looks good. And even Wells Fargo, they reported last week, pretty good quarter, and the thing sold off. And now today it rallies back up. So Wells Fargo looks fine. But the bank stocks, yeah, they were stronger today, stronger than most. Another group that was pretty strong was the miners is Alcoa. I was going to put this on our ready list over the weekend, but I had 8 stocks and I had tech in there, and I just didn't want to clog it up with too many. But it had a nice day, up nearly 4%. Just an inside day though, recovering after the bounce off the 10. AA looks good. Freeport McMoran, this one was up more than 1%. It found support at its 10 EMA. That one looks good. Southern Copper, a good way to play copper if you're so inclined. This is one just got a little bit ahead of itself, and it needs to pull back a little bit. So yeah, down 1% today, still outperforming the index. So that's definitely a strong stock. So also the defensive names were doing okay, as you could expect with all the geopolitical nonsense and noise. Lockheed Martin was strong. Raytheon is a big presence in our neighborhood. This thing's flat on the day. So they're holding up. FTAI, another defense name. Yeah, finding support at the 10, just flat on the session. So if you're into such things, I'm just observing, what's going on in the market. I'm not making any calls or predictions. But I do want to note that the cryptocurrency is a proxy for risk, and these things got slammed today. MicroStrategy has been one of the leading stocks in 2024, and it was down nearly 10% as Bitcoin had a rough week. And, it's just not doing well with all the turmoil in the market. Coin, another one that had a big move. We had this on our ready list. It broke out, ran up to 283, now pulled back. But, if you've held this thing since the breakout, you're still doing okay. It's still above the 50. Brutal day today, though, down 9%. That's kind of rough. And then the other one is the Clean Spark, which some of my friends are into. I don't like. It's too up and down. It trades too wild for me, and it's below the 50 now. But it'll probably rally back through, back up above 20. But it's a stock that I watch, one that I don't participate with. I'm not really into the Bitcoin that much. All right, let's go to the home builders. You know, with the yields being down, now they're going to report earnings. This is DR Horton. They're going to report earnings on the 18th. Obviously, you know, higher yields, interest rates affect these stocks. Lennar as well, traded below the 50. That looks a lot like the DR Horton. The home builders are just you know, a little rate sensitive here, so pulling back. It's not the end of the world. They're just pulling back just slightly below their 50. So I'm going to continue to watch them. They've been really strong names. Builder First Source, this one, yeah, below the 50. But you know, like I said, it's not the end of the world. They can definitely rally back through. You know, especially with all the earnings reports coming up in the next few weeks. I wouldn't get too down. I wouldn't panic sell. Just kind of observe what's going on. If you get a gap up and you want to you know, reduce some of your positions, and that's a good time to do it. But yeah, I wouldn't do too much right now. All right, another group that I like, you know, I do hold GE, and it's doing nothing wrong. Made a big gain, and now it's just going sideways, allowing the moving averages to catch up. It made a new high today, 158.69, right above the 158.44. Yeah, at least if my math is right. 69 is above 44. But anyway, just, you know, pulled back a little bit, kind of flat on this session. And when you're flat and the Nasdaq's down 2% or near 2%, you're outperforming. So that one looks good. Eaton has been a super strong stock. Now it just pulled back to its 21. Doing nothing wrong, you know, after making this high here of 331.47, just consolidating here a little bit. Eaton looks fine. Vertiv, they're going to report earnings soon as well, April 24th, and this one pulled back to its 21 today. As you can see, it's done this a lot lately. The pullback to the 21 is like, this thing's go-to. That's what it does. It pulls back to its 21. So very interesting to watch this stock this week and see how it plays out. After all, following all these earnings reports, we're going to get the new data points. All right, and the other one is Caterpillar, another one that is holding up well. Just pulled back to its 21. You know, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, Caterpillar looks fine. I got to go to the drug stocks. I think they're doing okay. Novo Nordisk, this thing's just forming a base. If I go to the weekly chart here, you can see it's down 5 weeks in a row and down again today. Not by much. I mean, it was down, what, 0.5%. But you could see this earnings line taking off, and while the earnings are going up, and this thing, you know, it had a nice move, but now it's flattening out on a base, and I think it's going to give us another opportunity before it reports earnings on May 2nd, which is, you know, what, 3 weeks away. So yeah, I could see this thing forming, you know, a bottom here and building the right side of a base. I'm gonna definitely keep my eye on Novo Nordisk. It looks pretty good to me. Eli Lilly, similar action here. Just looks like just a little flat base pattern. Yeah, I mean, relative strength line just kind of going sideways. Yeah, it's closed below its 50 today, but like I said, it's a flat base. I wouldn't worry too much about the 50. It's 1% below. When they report earnings, I have a feeling they're going to have strong earnings and it's going to be rewarded, but we're just going to have to wait and see. It's a really strong stock. One of the better drug stocks for sure. All right, that's it for me. Just kind of going through the markets and seeing you know, what's working and what's not. You know, a day like today, most stuff is not working, so it's okay. Tomorrow's another day. I do want to honor the great Steve Jobs and just say one more thing. There's the stock, retail internet stock, the Amazon of Korea, I guess, and it gapped higher on Friday and followed through today, up nearly 2%, which is pretty impressive feat, considering, you know, the indexes and the sell-off in the market. So yeah, it was up and it closed at the 22% of its daily range, so near the low of its range. But it did close that gap there. You see the high on Friday was 21.43, and it came down and closed that gap 21.42 and closed above that area. So that is one strong stock. And the last one is, you got to watch out for these stocks. These are ones that people are just jumping on and like, you're gonna make millions. These are like the meme stocks, right? They can't go lower, hold on for dear life. This is IZM, and I don't know what they do. I see Zoom, China-based provider of online business to business e-commerce platform. I have no idea. They have very little revenue. If you want to look at their balance sheet, such as it is, a little bit of cash flow, return on equity, but man, this thing is going berserk. I would like to kind of stay away from that stuff. Definitely a breakout. Um, but yeah, really expensive, and definitely somebody's pushing this one, and it can go down as fast as they go up, which reminds me of the DJT. This one broke out of a base, consolidated, broke out, and went up to like 79, and now it closed at 26 today. So you got to be careful. These things that just skyrocket without a lot of revenue. Anyway, that's it for me. I promise. At mcstockcharts.com, we never give up. Tomorrow's another day, and hopefully we all paid our taxes. Sold NVIDIA and wired the taxes straight to the IRS. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Just hang in there. Just keep observing. Don't be aggressive in this market because it's pulling back and consolidating, and it'll provide an opportunity for us at a later time. Thank you for watching.